Good day, everyone. I am Jelarin Tuting. So now we are going to present to you the topic about the effects of culture on tourism. So we have here two studies entitled The Impact of Cultures on Tourism, Positive and Negative Impacts of Tourism on Culture, a critical review of examples from the contemporary literature. And then the last one is Cultural Values, a new approach to explain people's travel behavior and attitudes toward transport modes. So the three studies will be discussed by Sina and Shaila.
Now let's proceed to the executive summary of the effects of cultures on travel. The first one is the impact of cultures on tourism. Culture and tourism have mutually beneficial relationship which can strengthen the attractiveness and competitiveness of places, regions, and countries. Culture is an increasingly significant element of the tourism product as it creates distinctiveness in a crowded global marketplace. Additionally, tourism provides an important means of enhancing culture and creating income which can support and strengthen cultural heritage, cultural production, and creativity. During most of the 20th century, tourism and culture were viewed as largely separate aspects of destinations. Therefore, growing articulation between culture and tourism was stimulated by a number of factors, namely the demand and supply. The second one is the positive and negative impacts of tourism on culture. There are some negative and positive effects of culture on tourism, or perhaps tourism on culture. The negative side shows how the local people been adapting the culture of the tourist since it's really different from theirs, wherein local peoples, the ones who entertain tourists, show a new side of them like their attitude and values. However, in positive one, tourism made an action like to preserve and conserve the cultural heritage, which is very important to maintain the cultural values, arts, traditions, and etc. Traveling has become increasingly vital in order for people to meet their daily demands. People must travel for a variety of reasons, including finding work, shopping, visiting friends, conducting personal business, and or relaxing and being able to get around are important aspects of our well-being according to Contrino and in 2009.
Cultural values: access to transport system determines the degree to which people are able to travel in process of fulfilling their daily requirements. Furthermore, psychologists have identified that culture affects people behavior and models have been developed to demonstrate how this occurs. According to Brown's 2005, however, studies on travel behavior in particular and transport in general have not used culture as a factor in explaining people's travel behavior. Buehler 2008 stated that culture is often treated as a residual factor. This means that matters that cannot be explained through mainstream approaches are assigned to culture. Furthermore, psychologists recognize that culture affects people's behavior. Hence, models have been developed to demonstrate how this happens, according to Brown's 2005. However, studies on travel behavior in particular and transport in general have not used culture as factor in explaining people travel behavior. By the next study, Rialus discuss about objective.
So this is the objectives, the impact of cultures on tourism. This studies aims to identify the relationship between the tourism and culture. In doing so, it presents the negative and positive impacts of culture on tourism industry, indicates the growth and development of tourism production based on cultural resources, understands the travel behavior of people of tourists regards with their cultural backgrounds. Now, for the next, Hannah Magnasi will be discussing the three theories of study.
So there are three theories that's been used in this study. The first one is the travel behavioral theory, the second one is the justification theory, and the last one is the evidence theory. So now for the explanation, the first, travel behavioral theory, it explains human behavior by analyzing the preceding and the outcome present in the individual's environment, describe the different traditions within the behavioral perspective, if what the correct attitude toward culture is, and the best approach to develop cultures. The next one is the justification theory. Justifying the motive produces the phenomenon that known as out-group favorable and a sensation of loneliness among low-status groups, demonstrating the role of perceived powerlessness as a factor that subordinates system, justifying beliefs among the disadvantaged. The next one is the evidence theory, signify the main factors linking tourism and culture to competitiveness and attractiveness, the ability of tourism to support tangible and intangible culture, demonstrating the role of regional stakeholders and the leadership qualities of public sector stakeholders and administrative arrangement for tourism and culture. So the next is the analysis strategy that will be discussed by Maria Allen Diaz.
The results of this study are presented and discuss the significant element of tourism, how cultures affect in tourism in terms of behavior, traditions, and beliefs, and what are the advantages and disadvantages in cultural tourism. And also discuss the importance of tourism. Culture and creative industries are increasingly being used to promote destinations and enhance their competitiveness and attractiveness increases awareness of underlying connections and associations with other cultures. Furthermore, cultural tourism can help strengthen identities, enhance cross-cultural understanding, and maintain the heritage and culture. In this study, presented and discussed the significant element of tourism. Culture is undeniably vital for tourism, as well as the attractiveness and competitiveness of locations. Furthermore, cultural tourism can help strengthen identities, enhance cross-cultural understanding, and maintain the heritage and culture. To create an equal society, the provision of accessible transport for every person is a main requirement. The continued use of transport planning approaches will produce biased policies. Therefore, researchers propose a new approach, and this approach is based on the identification of basic transport needs for different population groups. So the next is the key findings to be discussed by Cirilo Pacheco.
As a current research in three studies demonstrate between tourism and culture, and the way in which they have together became major drivers of destination attractiveness and competitiveness. Based on the recent case studies, culture has survived, expanding more and more engaged individuals is a factor of tourism product and objective imaging techniques. Therefore, creating a strong relationship between tourism and culture can help destinations to become more attractive, more competitive as locations to live, visit, work, and invest in.
All right, so I guess that could be all. Thank you.